Historians believe that tobacco was first cultivated in the Andes, sometime between 5000 and 3000 BC.
In South America, the tobacco was used in a number of ways which would dazzle us now. I mean, smoking was only one option of taking it. People sniffed it, they smoked it, they smeared it all over their bodies, they smeared it on other people's bodies, they drank it in a paste, and they even used it as an enema.
Shamans, spiritual leaders and healers, used it to diagnose illness.
They would consume enough really to take them to the edge of death, and that would take them into the spirit world where they could thereby examine the problems within their patients.
But it wasn't until Columbus reached Cuba on October 28, 1492, that Europeans discovered not the gold they sought, but tobacco.
When Columbus sent some of his lieutenants to investigate inland and try and find a little more about the people who inhabited it and what their habits were, one of the first matters they reported back was that these people were smoking. And to them it was an absolutely surreal habit. They had no idea, they had no precedent for it in Europe. They came across a tribe who were smoking very large cigars.
Tobacco quickly gained new converts. Its smoke wafted easily across cultural barriers. Spanish and Portuguese sailors picked up the habit and brought tobacco to Europe, where, ironically enough, it developed a bogus reputation as a wonder cure for all sorts of ailments. Once the British began visiting North America, they too took up smoking as a recreational habit. John Rolfe is credited as the first English settler to successfully raise tobacco for commercial use in Jamestown, Virginia, in 1612. Since its inception, the colony had been beset by disease and starvation.
John Rolfe realized that there could be a potential market for this tobacco that the natives were growing along the James River. Actually, that is what turned our failure, our fourth failure in settling this continent, into a success.
Tobacco secured the survival of the fledgling colonies. And by the end of the 17th century, England was importing more than 20 million pounds of colonial tobacco per year.
We became a tobacco society because tobacco was currency. It paid for the preachers, it paid taxes, it bought wives.
Tobacco was the dollar or the euro of the English settlements in the United States.
And tobacco also paid for slaves.
The slaves brought into Jamestown in 1619 were brought to help in the cultivation and harvesting and marketing of tobacco.
In the 18th century, colonial tobacco farmers, among them George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, struggled as inequities in the tobacco trade left them permanently indebted to British merchants. In tobacco-producing areas, the American Revolution became known as the Tobacco War. And in 1776, Benjamin Franklin used 5 million pounds of Virginia tobacco to collateralize a loan from France to help finance the American Revolution. But whether the world was at war or at peace, as long as there were ships on the sea, tobacco found new customers.